doing? Beautiful morning, Tuesday, Parenting Tuesday, and I welcome you to Jam 316. You know, I once read a joke where the wife ran to the husband and said, "Honey, my children and your children are beating our children." And at first I couldn't click what they were talking about. But yeah, that's a blended family. So parenting in a blended family, the dynamics are quite different. If you've grown up in a blended family, you must have an idea of what I'm talking about. How do you handle that? You know, if you're getting into this relationship, which is leading to marriage, and it's a blended family, you've come with your kids, your spouse also has come with their kids, and then God blesses you with your kids together. How do you handle all that? Who does what? You know, do you discipline her kids? Does she discipline your kids? Do you discipline your kids together? I mean, it's just one big, what do you call it? Fruit salad. And so we want to find out parenting dynamics in a blended family. Maybe you grew up in a blended family. What were your experiences? Or maybe you are currently in a blended family. Mr. Husband, Mrs. Wife, talk to us and tell us what your experiences are and how you handle things parenting in the blended family situation. I will be introducing my guest to you shortly. Tuesday morning, it is Parenting Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we talk about issues to do with parenting. If there's any area we need help today, it is the area of parenting. You know, the other day, we were doing a parenting class, and the gentleman who was taking us through the parenting class asked a very interesting question. He asked, "What's wrong with kids today?" And the parents gave all sorts of answers. Oh, they are so opinionated. Oh, they are so this. Oh, they are so this. And then he asked, so how did they become like that? Eventually, we took a full circle and we realized there's nothing wrong with the kids. There's something very wrong with our parenting. That is why we need help. So today we talk about parenting dynamics in a blended family. In studio with me, blended family coach Jackie Kea is in studio with us. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you.
Unakaribishwa sana.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we look at parenting, are the dynamics in a blended family different from what we would look at as the kawaida family?
Yes, the dynamics are different. If I'm just to explain what a blended family is,
Yes.
It's a family where one or both of the adults in the relationship come with a child or children from previous relationships. Yes.
Okay.
So that is what a blended family is. And the other types of families, most of them, have both bio parents sharing bio kids together.
Yes.
So the dynamics definitely will be different because the parties involved in a blended families are more than the other ordinary nuclear family.
Very true.
Yes.
So what are some things individuals who are planning to come together, tie the knot, what are they supposed to consider before they actually make this decision if it's going to be a blended family? Because sometimes the love can blind you so much you forget to think about all these other things. But it's not just the two of you now.
Yeah.
Their children or a child is involved.
You know, James, what I always say, when you are having a relationship and love, like you're calling it, is on a high level, everything revolves around the two of you.
Yes.
Such that even when you're in a hotel having coffee and somebody asks, did you see the person seated next to you who was wearing, you didn't notice them.
Yeah.
Because everything revolved around the two of you. However, when you get married, the things that happen around you actually affect the marriage right at that time.
Yeah.
Because now there are other parties that are going to be involved. So the first thing I think couples should do before they get into a blended family or a step family is to check their expectations. Do you have realistic expectations? There's the fact that maybe when you're in love, you'll feel like because she loves me, she will love my kids.
Definitely.
Yeah. Because I love them, my kids will love them. So you can't have such assumptions. That is not how it works.
Oh.
Yeah, because by the time you guys were having this relationship, you courted each other, you knew her, you went for dates, and then you get married. You didn't do that with the kids. So the kids will also have a process and go through a process so that they get to know their step-parent and also create a relationship with their step-parent.
Okay.
So the first thing is to check the expectations, don't make assumptions, and don't have uncommunicated expectations. Because that is the other thing that we have.
Yeah.
Most of us have unexpected uncommunicated expectations.
Yeah.
Yes. And that, I'll give an example of a single mother who gets remarried or married with a child, and they expect that their husband will play all the duties that a father would have played. And they're expecting him to pay school fees, they're expecting him to do everything. And that is not communicated.
Oh, that is not automatic?
It's not automatic.
That because you're coming on board and you love me and you know I have a child, now you're the father, now you take responsibility. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay.
Have a discussion around it. Speak about your expectations so that the other person knows what the expectations are all about.
Okay.
There are some who expect to come in and pay the school fees and take all the responsibilities.
Yes.
However, there are no ex-parents. Yeah. And maybe
Very true.
there is only an ex-husband, an ex-wife, an ex-girlfriend, and an ex-boyfriend.
But never an ex-parent.
There's no ex-parent, there's no ex-child. So you might be coming in with the assumption that I'm going to be now the father figure, and now we should forget about the bio father to this child.
Yes.
And yet, the bio father still is involved in it. So the first thing I think is to check expectations, make sure the expectations are realistic, and also communicate them. Use your voice.
Wow.
Yeah, instead of complaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting because many of us would just assume, you know what, because we are coming together and because you love me, you know, you're now the man of the house. This is now automatically your child. So you should do A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about it.
Yes. And there's so many people who get disappointed and carry a lot of resentment.
Yes.
Because they had these expectations, yet they never communicated it, but they assumed, but he should know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you're accepting me, you should have known you're also accepting this other responsibility. That's a very I'd not thought about that. I'm just wondering, in terms of, let's go back to the whole single mom example.
Yeah.
You know, single mom, and then you meet somebody, and then the two of you get married, so there's a child. Yeah, maybe it's a teen or a preteen.
Yeah.
So this child, the mother has been parenting them in a particular style.
Yes.
Now there's a man in the house.
Yes.
How do you handle that if the style of the man is different? Because all of us have different parenting styles. Are these things you talk about before, or did you just let them play out and see where it goes?
Okay. I think there's assuming that when they get married, they're also maybe expecting to have a child of their own one time. Yes. And they're expecting to raise up a family. So one of the things that I think is very important is to have a communication, a discussion about what are the values and the vision of the family that we want to build. Yeah. And what are the characters that we want to bring up and instill in our children in our house. And how can we instill these characters in them?
Yeah.
So if you have the vision of the family, and if you have the idea of what the kids in your family you would want them to be, and the values you would want them to have, it becomes easier to now discuss on the how we can instill it on them. Now, that put aside, there are no instant parents. That even in the normal state, we take 9 months.
That's true. That's also true.
Yes. There are no instant parents. Even God gives us 9 months.
To prepare ourselves.
Yes. Before now we get to become parents. Yeah. So, as a step parent, and this is, you can either be a stepfather or a stepmother. As a step parent, don't expect to be an instant parent. That you will come in, be the head of discipline, because that is what fathers do, and take over the disciplinary issues. No, this is you cannot be instantly the disciplinarian, because you need to form a connection with this child before you get to be the person that can discipline them, train them, guide them. And when you talk about discipline, I'm hoping that we know that discipline is training.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not kumchapa.
Yes. Yes.
Shall I have a permission to beat? It's not beating the child. So it's training, guiding, teaching.
Okay.
So you need to connect before you can correct, before you can train, or before they can actually take in whatever you're saying. And this is cuts across the human race.
Yeah.
Today, with your colleagues, there are some of them who are close to you, who have a connection with you. And if a new one comes that does not have a connection with you and tells you, James, I think you don't look good with your beard. You need to cut it off.
Don't touch my beard. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
You won't listen. You won't even
them.
listen. It won't make sense to you.
Yes.
But if it's somebody that you have connected with, you
Yes.
might consider what they're saying.
Yeah.
So step parents need to take time, know that they are no instant parents, and need to create time to connect before they can correct, teach, or guide.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, I remember growing up, there was the whole narrative of the evil stepmother.
Yes.
Yeah? There's even a song, I can't remember who sang it, and it used to ask the question, Baba wa kambo na mama wa kambo, nani aliye mbaya? I can't remember who sang it. You know, could that have been birthed out of what you're talking about? That you come in, you haven't invested anything in this child, and you're trying to discipline them. So in their eyes, anything you do in relation to discipline is because I am not your child.
Yeah. It could have, and it's the perception. You know, punishment without a connection is deemed as discipline without connection is deemed as punishment.
Yeah.
Yes, but if there's a connection, then the child has a bit of grace with you and understands that where you're coming from a good place, and they trust you enough that whatever you're telling them, it's not out of malice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it cuts across us.
Okay.
We don't take time to connect with the children. And being a step parent is not easy. You know, one of the Maslow's needs of human being is acceptance.
Very true.
Yes. And now imagine you're getting into a role that one of the things that Jackie will tell you is that, remember, there'll be rejection.
Ooh.
Yes. Because the kids will not, if they instantly accept you, well and good.
Well and good. Bless the Lord.
Yes. But most of the time, most of them will resist you because of the change that is going to come in. It's so significant and is going to be brought into their lives.
Is it easier if the children are, or the child is younger than when they are maybe already in their teens or even early adulthood, because now they understand things? Is it harder then for blended families to actually fuse together?
Yeah, it's easier when the children are younger. Yes, because the younger children, all they need is nurturing most of the time.
Yes.
And nurturing is easy to provide. There are no questions. Maybe they don't have a voice and they don't know how to express their emotions and everything.
Yeah.
And as they grow older, when you come in when they're older, it's more difficult. It's more challenging, but not impossible. Maybe the dynamics now change and whatever you have to do is going to be different.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for us? We are talking about parenting in a blended family scenario. Maybe you are in one currently, or maybe you grew up in one. What are some of the things you experienced? Or maybe you're thinking of getting into one. You've met somebody, they have children, or you've met somebody, you have children, and the two of you are planning to come together. You feel free to ask questions that we can give you guidance on. 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number is 0786 316 316. I want to play you some music as we go on with this conversation. And remember, like I keep telling you, don't wait until 5 minutes before we get to 9 and then you're bombarding me with 56 questions. No, ask the questions now so that we can have ample time to go through them. Your question may help somebody else else who may not have thought of that. So feel free to ask it. Even if you're not in a blended family situation and you have a question, hey, ask it. My name is James Okumu. It's Parenting Tuesday. In studio with me today, blended family coach Jackie Care. We are talking about parenting dynamics in a blended family. Your questions are welcome to 0316 SMS line. WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. Interesting question here.
Okay.
Please address the issue of in-laws in the blended family scenario. Sometimes the in-laws traumatize the child who is not their blood relatives, and they do it so openly. They speak very loudly about the faults of the stepchild. They say nothing when he or she succeeds. In fact, they're very quick to report any small misdemeanor by this child to the father.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting it.
Yes.
These are the in-laws of these are the in-laws of the step parent.
Yes.
Traumatizing the step parent's stepchild.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You have no control over everyone.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, that is true. But what you need to know is that you are the ambassador of your family and you're the ambassador of your choice. Yeah. So you represent your family, your small nuclear family to your extended family.
Yeah.
Yes. When you embrace, accept, and are out to really work at your step family and your step parent stepchild relationship, then others follow suit.
Yeah.
When you do not also talk ill about the stepchild, when you don't complain about the stepchild, when you embrace it totally, that you look for other places to go and talk about it. But if you make them the people that you go to talk to when you're having stress, you know them, they are emotionally invested in you.
Yeah.
And anyone that looks like is the
source of stress in your life.
Yeah. Yes, they take positions and they take sides.
Yeah.
So, and even in marriage, you have to actually identify which group you can talk to about your marriage, about your complaints, about your stress. When people are too emotionally invested in you, and you go and complain and they go and say, Aki James Law Minibo, immediately they take sides.
Definitely.
They take sides immediately.
Because you've given them permission.
Yes. Yeah. And you're the one who started it.
Yes.
You spoke it. So I think for step parents, you have to get people who are objective if you are to talk about your stepchild challenges.
Okay.
But if you do it with your mother, if you do it with your father, your sisters, your aunties, they take sides and they wonder, but they're not even our blood.
Yeah.
And you will end up forgiving whatever the stepchild has done, but they will not.
They will not.
They carry it and put it in the archives, and every time now all they see is the faults and how bad the stepchild is. So you be the ambassador of the choice that you have made. Believe me, you chose to be a step parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the step parents, most of us chose. You meet somebody and they tell you, I have a child.
Yeah.
When you decide that, okay, I can marry you, that is when you picked your stepchild. When you picked that man or when you picked that woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning, Pastor. Thanks for bringing this topic. It has indeed been a challenge because I did not invest fast. I was married when my stepsons were 17 and 22, and the daughter was 16. It's been 7 years now, and we've not quite connected. What do I do to improve our relationship? My daughter is okay with my husband, but sons still far from me.
Okay. And the daughter is the youngest?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the daughter is 16.
Okay. When you get married with kids who are 17, I mean in their
22.
teens and 22, those are young adults, and they can make up their mind.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't force them to look at our spouses as a parent to them.
Okay.
Yeah? Because their parenting needs are minimal. There are countries that at 17 you need to be out of the house.
Yes. Very true.
Yeah. So their parenting needs are minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So as a mother and as the stepfather,
Mm.
you need to understand that their parenting needs are minimal. So what kind of relationship can be made out of this?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to be father-son relationship. It can be, they can be their coach. They can be the people that when I have a decision to make in my career,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'll talk to dad, or
Yeah.
if they call him James, I'll
Yeah.
talk to James so that James can help me through. There are other roles that a step parent can play in a child's life.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be the exact father role. I discipline, I do what. No. There are other roles that a parent can play, or a step parent can play in
yeah.
a child's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we need to accept it and just find a balance that works for our family.
Yes.
So 7 years to now, they might not have gotten that relationship that they were looking for. Maybe they were looking for the fact that it will work exactly like what a family is.
Mm.
Yeah? They might not have gotten it, but they've not lost it.
Okay.
They need to redefine
Mm.
what kinds of relationships can be created.
Okay.
Yes. What
Wow.
kind of associations can be created in their family? At the end of the day, they need to be civil and respectful to
Yes.
each other.
Yes.
With that foundation, any other relationship can be built.
Okay.
Yes.
Good morning. Me, I'm in the case of that. I fell in love with a lady. We came together and got married. She has 3 girls that I did not father. But when I ask her to bring the kids, she tells me I have to let her parents know first. How do I deal with that?
She has to let whose parents know?
When the man is asking her to bring the kids, the wife is telling her husband, you have to talk to my parents first. I'm assuming the children are with the lady's parents.
Okay.
Yeah, the lady has 3 kids.
Okay.
And I'm assuming the ladies, the kids are being raised by the lady's parents.
Okay.
So the husband is saying, see you later, our daughter. And the woman is saying, you have to talk to my parents first. Yeah.
Okay, these are some of the discussions that I'm saying.
Yes.
You need to have before you
Before
get
you
into.
settle down.
Yes, because the fact that love is so strong during those initial dating time
Yes.
and courtship period, the discussion, I mean, you can bring in anything. There's a lot of grace when you're still courting. So even the difficult conversations are easy to bring up
Yeah.
about. So these are the discussions they should have brought and asked. Okay, now that we have 3 children in the picture of this relationship, what is our plan? Where will they stay?
Yes.
Do they still stay at home with your mom?
Or do we bring
Or
them over?
do we bring them over?
Yes.
So I think because they didn't have that discussion, that is why they're having this difficulty right now.
That is true.
I even wonder if they have met each other's parents, because if the process of marriage took the process that it takes,
Yeah.
and you meet your in-laws, you go pay dowry, the men, palipo na wazee haparibiki
Jambo.
au wazee wangeleta maneno ya watoto.
Yes.
Yes. So there's some processes that we miss out on
Yeah.
actually help us to tackle the difficult situations that we have. But I want to say one thing, that as ladies, you know, a man can get married with 10 kids.
Yeah.
They can still get a woman, a younger one, a beautiful one, to marry them. But women at times, because we are single mothers and we have even one child, it can be a problem. Yeah, because of the socialization.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you find that there are women out here who now hide kids. They don't
Oh.
declare kids.
They declare after the wedding.
Yes. Or they just don't.
Yes.
Because you had this child when you were younger, and this child calls your mom. So even if you go with your husband at
Yeah.
home, they will not hear the child calling you mom. They call me Jackie. So you
Yes.
might not know.
Yes.
So I think for me, one of the things that I would want to say today is that don't hide your kids. The acceptance you're looking for starts with you accepting you and owning your story.
Yes.
There are a lot of adults today that are so traumatized because of the feelings of rejection they felt when their mother came to the city and they were left at home. And then they have siblings who lived a different life in the city,
Yes.
and their life was different. There are so many adults to date that are suffering from resentment, feeling of rejection, and it has manifested in their relationships even in adulthood.
Yes.
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 So the acceptance that you are looking for starts with you. If you accept your story, you accept your package, then you will attract somebody who also does the same. If you don't, then you are bringing up a child who is going to really need a lot of support in their adulthood.
Very true.
Yes.
And also your spouse, eventually when they find out, they will feel so cheated.
Yes.
Yeah, this relationship was built on the wrong foundation.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if you could cheat me about
Yeah.
your own child, what else have you lied to me about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it backfires on you.
Uh-huh.
It backfires on the relationship you would have had with your child. It backfires on the relationship your child would have enjoyed.
Yes.
It's terrible.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Somebody's asking, what does the law state when it comes to issues of inheritance for the children in a blended family?
I think there was a law that was passed the other day that I don't think they automatically will inherit from their stepfather. But I am not sure because I'm not a lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah. However, I think in case you feel like there's any doubt,
Yeah.
or you are feeling like, okay, I'm raising this boy, but I don't want them to inherit my land
Yeah.
or my what. This little law I know is that a will help you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Many of us are afraid of writing wills.
Yes.
It's like
You can
you're
put it in
signing a death
writing.
Sentence.
Put it in writing and
Yeah.
say how you want your inheritance to
Okay.
be like.
Okay.
Yes.
Another question in regards to almost something similar. When you get married and now you're in a blended family situation, are these your children automatically, or can you go a step further and actually adopt them to be yours? How does it work?
They're not your children automatically. You can go a step further and adopt them.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You can.
So now if you adopt them, then they're legally, in matter of
Yes.
inheritance, they're legally your children because you have adopted them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but I think because I'm not a lawyer,
Yeah.
there's also a law that says if you have a niece
Yes.
who is an orphan or somebody that you've been taking care of and they're your dependent,
Yeah.
I think there was a law that was saying that they might need to be supported still when you die because you are the one responsible for their lives. I think that is something that you can bring up a children's lawyer,
Yeah.
so that all the other questions can
Yes.
be answered around that.
Okay.
Yes, a family lawyer.
Good. Probably you're the family lawyer who's listening and you have answers to our questions.
Yes.
So you assume you give us answers to these questions that we are wondering about. Also, if you have questions, you still have like 20 minutes to be able to ask your questions. So SMS us on 20316, WhatsApp 0786 316 316. Remember, we are talking about parenting dynamics in a blended family scenario. If you grew up in a blended family, probably you can tell us your experience. How were things? Was there a lot of bitterness and anger towards your stepfather, your stepmother, or was it the kind of family that you could not even tell it has stepmother, stepfather, or stepchildren? Talk to us because that will help somebody who's tuned in today. It is Parenting Tuesday. Today we talk about parenting dynamics in a blended family. In studio with me, I have a blended family coach, Jackie Care, in studio with me. Thank you for your questions. Let's see if we'll be able to go through most of them or all of them. Let's not mention names. I'm a lady in a blended relationship with interference from the biological mother of my husband's children. His children are above 24 years, but the mother uses rifts through the children, causing no peace in the house. The man subsequently clearly does not like my children who are younger. He does not even attempt to have a relationship with them. Yet, my children don't have a biological father since he died 10 years ago, and I never got married to him. Thus, I have been a single parent since my children were toddlers.
Okay.
Wow.
My heart really, really goes out to her.
Yes.
And just to check in if I'm hearing correct, that the husband
Yes.
has older kids,
Yes.
and the husband's ex is interfering with her family.
Yes.
I'm wondering if that is what she is thinking is the cause of the husband not having a relationship with her young kids. And are these young kids mutual kids with the husband or her kids?
They're her kids.
That she came with?
Yeah, she came with her kids. Yeah.
Okay.
Both of them came with kids.
Yeah.
But now for her kids, the father to her kids died.
Yes.
Yeah. But for the husband, the ex-wife is there. Yeah, the mother to
the older kids. Yeah.
Yes. So now the mother through the children is causing a rift in the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there are boundaries that you that are there in a step family.
Yes.
And there are boundaries that you have as a stepmom or a stepdad. The responsibility of taking care of a relationship and making a relationship work belongs to the two of you.
Yes.
Yeah. I owe my husband love, and my husband owes me love because the marriage is theirs. Now, about his ex and his previous relationship,
Yes.
it is your husband's responsibility to work it out and make sure that it is clear that it's not interfering with the choice that he made, which is now to have a life with you.
Yeah.
Now, if that is not happening, clearly, I cannot even blame the bio mother or the ex of this man. The person I'll blame is the man who made a choice to be with this woman and yet still allows interference from this.
Yeah, from the ex.
Yeah, from the ex. So I think it's a couple issue that they need to sit down
Yeah.
and have a discussion about it. And one thing that I think people don't do, if there's a couple that needs premarital preparation,
Yeah.
it's those ones getting into a blended family.
But
We
the
need it
assumption
so
is-
much.
The assumption is, especially if you're married before, I've done this before. I don't need to be guided on anything. In fact, I should be the one giving people guidance. So you just jump into it.
Yeah, that is a very bad assumption. If there are couples that need to prepare
Yes.
before they get into the family relationship or the family living, it's the couples that are getting into blended families. So with that, there are so many dynamics and so many complexities that will come in. If you're not prepared, you're done.
Yeah.
And if there's a couple that needs to have a strong marriage, are couples in step families.
Wow.
Because your marriage is the backbone under which all the other challenges are going to fall on. If the backbone is not strong, then everything tumbles down.
Yeah.
The children, upbringing, the marriage, and everything tumbles down.
Okay.
So I can advise her to look for support also. Yes.
Wow.
Because there's more to this that needs to be looked at.
Yes.
Yes.
I know sometimes in a situation like that, sometimes the bitterness of the ex is projected to the children.
Yes.
You know, when the children see you, they see you as the woman who took their father away
Yes.
from their mother.
Yes.
You know, and it's not an easy situation
Yeah,
to deal with.
it's not.
You know, because also in situations like that, you're creating a scenario where kids have to choose.
Yeah.
You're putting kids in a situation where they have to choose their loyalty. You know,
Yeah.
if I hang out with my mom, you get angry. But she's my mom. Even though
Yes,
my
yes.
dad and my mom left each other, she is still my mom.
Yeah.
If I hang out with her, it doesn't mean that now I'm being disrespectful. But, you know, it's a very tricky situation.
Yeah, and that is why we say that the ship called relationship,
Yes.
ilizama kwa sea. But there's a ship called parentship.
Yes.
It's still on
It's
the water.
still on the water.
Yes.
I like that.
So we should not let it also sink.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
There are no ex-parents, there are no ex-children.
Yeah. I need to tweet that. Is it right for a stepmother to bring in all her relatives to stay at home, including her brother's children? Yet she expects us to pay rent in Nairobi, yet we are struggling financially. My dad is retired. Hey, hapo kuna chungu hapo.
This is a child
Yes.
who is complaining.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's complaining because the dad, he's feeling like the dad is
being overwhelmed.
Yeah. But now this might sound funny,
Yeah.
but your dad is your father.
Yeah.
And he has some father responsibilities and father roles. And there's another role that your dad is playing, which is called husband.
Yeah.
To your stepmother, your dad is husband. And some things, wife and husband will sit down and agree without maybe even consulting you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it something that your father, no, is it something that your dad as a husband has said yes to?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which he must have, because sioni vile watakuja na hajakubali. Sindio?
Hata mimi nafikiria hivyo.
Yes.
Even may think that.
Yes.
So is it something that your dad, in his husband duty,
Yes.
has said
Yes
yes
to.
to? You may not like it,
Yeah.
what he's doing as a husband.
Yes.
Yes. But now, that is what he has chosen to do as a husband. Are there things that he's doing as a dad that are affecting you, that you're feeling like, now this, I am being affected?
Yeah.
Then you talk to him as a dad and say, as a son, I think this and this is not working well.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a hard one. Listen to this one. I got married to a widower with 4 kids. It's now the 13th year. I have kids, twins, 12 years. I've put in all my strength, sweat, and blood for the family. Stood by all of them that most people didn't even know that I am not their bio. But it has never been appreciated. Both my husband and children, they come back to me when in trouble. I feel used and sad. Do I surrender? I'm always sad. I'm only there because some of the in-laws appreciate me.
This is a stepmom.
This is a stepmom. Wow.
I get where she's coming from.
Yes.
But I think one thing I need to say is that even if she puts a price on it,
Yeah.
they can't afford to pay her back.
Very true.
If my mother today puts a price on what she did for me or your parents did for you, you will never afford it to be paid back.
Yeah.
So if you're a step parent and you're choosing to be a step parent, ni utende mema, uende zako. Uende zako.
Yeah.
There's no child who has ever repaid even their guardian
Yeah.
or their mother. Even our own bio kids will never repay us. Yeah. So if you sit down and you think it is a business, business is where we get...
You transact.
And we transact and we get profits and you can
Yes.
say that I invested and that was a loss.
Yeah.
It's not. And it might seem so unfair
Yeah.
if you're looking at the returns. But if your purpose was, I have chosen to be married, my husband has children, and I will give my best and make a significant positive impact on this child, if they can go out there and become the human being that God created them to be,
Yes.
that is your reward.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there's no reward that will be equal, like 2 + 2 is equals to 4.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. We may not be able to finish all these questions, but let's see if we can talk about this one. Is it okay for the mother to change their children's names to the name of the stepfather? From the biological, change the names of the children from the biological father's name to the stepfather's name. Is it in order?
Yeah. I think that is one of the questions I've had a lot.
Yes.
And I think my opinion is old school. Now, for some of us, change the names because of the bitterness, resentment, because most of the time the relationships end because of something bad, yeah?
Yes.
Negativity. So there are most of us who really want to forget our ex and just forget that they ever existed and remove it from the memories of everyone that they ever existed.
Yes.
This is just my opinion. For me, I don't think it's necessary for you to change that, because even if you change the paper, you cannot change DNA.
Yeah.
Half of the DNA that your child carries belongs to the Onyango, Kamau, or Maina. Even if you change it, it won't help. There's a stage that kids, and this is maybe a young child, you would want to change it then. There's a stage that kids reach in psychological development, where now they're looking for their identity.
Yes.
Who am I? When your child gets to that state and looks for who am I, and believes that who he is what is in the birth certificate, and watu watakunyima chakula na kila kitu, but people will never nyima you stories.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody will
Oh,
tell
yeah.
him
Yes.
or her,
Yes.
you are so and so's son.
Mm.
And then the confusion of the identity comes in.
Wow.
What happens? What happens? And I always say, Barack Obama had to just come here and see.
Yes. He had to come and see.
He had to come here and just get his identity.
Yes.
He'll not come and live here, but there was satisfaction to come and just trace who he is. So for me, if you ask me, I don't think changing that will support your child.
Yeah.
It might be detrimental to your child, but it might satisfy you
For now.
for now.
Yeah.
Now, put your child first.
Yes.
And I always say, love your child more than you hate your ex.
I like
Yes.
that.
Then you will do things that are good for him,
Yes.
but not things to get back at your
Your
ex.
ex.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Parting shot, Jackie, as we finish.
Okay, that was fast.
That was very fast. So we need a part 2.
Yeah. The parting shot is that structure defines function. The structure of a blended family is different. So our functionality, our roles, and the way we live is going to be different.
Yeah.
If you force your step family to function as if it's not a step family,
Yeah.
then you are going to fail. I know it's complicated. I know life in blended families are very complicated, but I know it is possible to build a healthy and emotionally balanced step family unit. Yes.
Wow. Tuma salamu.
Sina salam.
If there are no salams, the show will not end. We'll just stay here looking at the cameras until...
I'll say hi to all those who are watching or listening and wish them a good day today.
Okay.
Yes.
No, isn't salamu. Jackie, thank you so much for coming through for us. We'll definitely look forward to hosting you again and having a part 2 because we have questions we didn't answer. And
Okay.
as somebody said, they said we need to keep this conversation going because we have a lot of single mothers today who are getting into marriages, and so they need guidance on some of these things.
That is true. And do you know by 2050, there are more blended families that will be here than the other families, as much as we are burying our heads in the sand.
That's why we need to have this conversation.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Asante. We are out of time. I hope the little that we've been able to cover today has been beneficial to you, but don't fret. We will organize a part 2 and keep this discussion.